welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be an eyeshadow first review on the Spring KIKO Milano eyeshadow palettes. I don't hear a lot of people talking about KIKO Milano. They're really popular here in Europe. So I saw their spring collection launch and I decided I was gonna just find out what this brand is all about. So I have two of the spring palettes here. I'm gonna kind of just play with them, test them out, insert in some swatches. So if that sounds good to you, if you like eyeshadow palette videos, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet, but with all that, let's just get to the palettes. All right, I brought you in a little bit closer and we're just gonna get started. So they had an entire just Days in Bloom collection is what they're calling it. I only picked up the two little 9-pan eyeshadows. That's what I was interested in. And the packaging is just so pretty. I love the florals. I know florals for spring, groundbreaking, but I'll never get sick of it personally. So there's two palettes. The first one is 01 Piece of My Earth, and this is what it looks like. Here is the outside of it, and for being a 9-pan, I laughed a little when I received this because it is quite small. I brought in a Huda Beauty, just one of their Obsession palettes, so you could see the size since they're both 9-pans. And you can see how much smaller it is. That's really like my only complaint right now, not trying the formula, but it's very small and it retails for $25. So I guess for $25, I was just expecting something a little bit bigger. Even this size would have felt better, but this is what Piece of My Earth looks like. And you can see it's pretty warm tone here. Kind of reminds me of a NARS palette. Almost just the colorings. It has, I'm gonna throw out my swatch photo, but it has 4 shimmers and it has 5 mattes in this palette. Not too bad. I mean, I like a half and half split, so it's about that. And you have a good range from light to dark tones in this palette. So nothing bad to say about Piece of My Earth. Now the second palette is called Green Serenade, and the box kind of matches. And then let's just open this up. Here is what the outside looks like. And then the inside. This one definitely to me is much more spring. You'll see the swatches. This one has, let's see, it has more shimmers than mattes. So it has 3 mattes in this palette and 6 shimmers. So more than a 50-50, and I like that because you have the green that has some sparkle, you have the purple that has some sparkle, like the colorful shades are the ones with the shimmers. Now, just to show both palettes side by side here, here you have the number 1 palette, the number 2, and then the insides. One is for sure just more warm toned, and then you have more cool toned, more colorful, depending on what you're looking for. I think for today, I don't want to do one look with each palette. I think I'm gonna just play with both palettes and see how the formula is. These don't have shade names or anything like that, so we'll just have to point, but I'm gonna take my glasses off and we're gonna get started. I definitely want to play with the purple. I think that's gonna be one of my shimmers. I'm just feeling clearly in like a purple mood here. And let's see how we can do both. Maybe purple with, maybe like try to reach into these browns more, the mattes more, and use the purple in this palette. I'm just gonna get started here. I think first up, I'm gonna use the cream to just go all over my lid. I have no primer on and my eyes have been feeling kind of dry, so I haven't been putting eye primer on. And then I'm gonna go in with this as the transition. So let's just start with that. There's good pickup on the brush and it is a little bit powdery. I would love to know down below if you've tried anything from KIKO. Are they a brand that's kind of just interested you? I see stores here. I live in France everywhere, like brick and mortar stores. So I have to think that they're somewhat popular in Europe. I know that they're like an Italian brand, but they're definitely not drugstore. I mean, they're mid-range pricing, almost Sephora pricing. So it's not like this is a European drugstore brand by any means. They're still sold at Ulta, so you can get them in the US, and they do have a website where you can pick up this collection if Ulta doesn't have it. I'm going to use the same brush to go in with the transition shade here and just kind of define my crease. You can see the color. I mean, it's very soft. It's not going to give you bam pigment, but it does look very nice. No complaints so far. We'll see if the shimmers have impact. Not that I'm expecting an indie shimmer here. It's just like a cute little palette. The outside packaging too kind of just reminds me of Chantecaille a little bit. They have those eyeshadow quads that kind of gave me similar vibes. But yeah, I would love to know if you've tried KIKO, if you have any recommendations on products from them, if you really love them. I'm also going to add this to the lower lash line. I'm just going to use the same brush. Now I'm going to switch to the other palette. I think I'm going to use this shade to deepen up the outer corner. And I'm just trying to decide because I really do want to go in with that purple, but do I want it all over the lid or do I want it like a pop in the inner corner? I'm going to put it all over the lid. I've decided, but let's just start off with the outer corner first. I can get ahead of myself sometimes. For being very just lighter, demure shades, it does show up. I like that. I just don't like it when a palette kind of looks desaturated, doesn't show up, or looks the same on the eyes. Sometimes when you have just a more muted shadow, even though they look different in the pan, they look the same on the eyes, and I'm not getting that from this. I am seeing just different depths. It's soft for sure. I've been trying a lot of indie palettes as of recent, and this is not the same, and there's quite the kick up. You can see how much powder is just showing up in pan. And again, I'm going to add this to the lower lash line, but more just like halfway. Now I'm going to go in to the purple, and I'm going to use my finger. A lot lighter, almost matches my shirt, my nails, than it's showing in the pan. I'm going to be careful because I'm worried that this is going to have a ton of fallout since I'm not using any kind of glitter glue. It's very creamy actually on my finger. I haven't done my swatches yet, so that's surprising just how creamy it feels. Almost like a cream to powder or cream to like a creamy matte. It's showing up, but I still was half expecting like a bright punchy indie. So it's a light, very light purple, which is good if you just kind of want to like start playing with color. I think I'm gonna try spraying my brush just to see what that does, if it gives more impact. That's not something I normally do, but I just wanna test it out and see. It's a little bit more metallic. Yeah, you can see it more than the other side. So you probably want to use a glitter glue or spray it. Or if you want to keep it lighter, just use your finger. I go over on this side. I do want it just a little bit punchier. I like that. Since I tried mattes from both palettes and I tried a shimmer in this palette, I'm gonna go into this one for the inner corner and use like this really diamondy shade, kind of a gold, but that's okay. We'll kind of just mix metals here. I am gonna spray this because it looks very chunky on my brush here, and I'd rather not get that much fallout. Okay, but that is very almost too much. I was able to kind of fix that inner corner a little bit, just kind of smush it down. It has like a super shock feel. And the last thing I'm gonna do is go into this deep dark brown from the first palette and just line my eyes. Just a little bit. Keep it kind of smudgy. It's very dark. I mean, it does have a lot of pigment. So I added kind of just like a winged liner shadow kind of situation, added mascara, and that's the finished look. I like it a lot actually. It's just very, very soft and everyday. These palettes, I'm just gonna kind of go into my final thoughts here right away, keep this short and sweet. This isn't my first time trying KIKO Milano. I actually have another eyeshadow palette that I bought during holiday, but those shadows are a baked formula, and I actually really, really like that eyeshadow palette. However, the formula is completely different from these. This is more of just your typical eyeshadows, but very soft, and maybe that's what they were going for because this is a springtime collection. They wanted something kind of just soft, Eastery, colorful, and I'm not mad at it. I actually think I'll get some use out of these palettes. I don't love that they're so small. I don't love that they were, I think, a little bit overpriced for what they are. I think that you definitely should wait until KIKO has a sale. I don't think they're worth $25, but money is relative, so spend your money how you want. However, like, I think KIKO's like a nice little brand that maybe deserves a little bit more love. I'm gonna keep my eye on them in the future, and I'm quite happy that I decided to pick these palettes as my palette of the month because I am on a low buy and I'm only allowing myself so many purchases in the month, and I decided to pick these up. After that though, you know, I'll have to try these palettes out more. I always test everything out that I do a first impression on, come back, do a ranking, and give more detailed thoughts. But I have no complaints. The shades that I tried, I tried, let's see, how many shades did I try? 2, 3, 4, 5 different shades out of 18. But I'm happy with all of them. A little bit powdery and a little bit soft. I keep saying that, but that's what it is. They're just very soft colors, and it fills a hole in my collection. I have a lot of indie palettes now that offer more of that bright, punchy pigment, and I have less of these kind of just softer palettes, and I'm gonna enjoy these, I can tell. So let me know down below if you were considering these palettes, if they interested you, if there's other things from KIKO that I should pick up and explore, because maybe they're not well known for their eyeshadow, but they are well known for their complexion products or their blushes. I have no idea. I would love it if you know to let me know. But that's all that I have for you today. Hopefully you found this video helpful, you enjoyed the swatches, and I will see you in my next one. Bye everyone.